What's up, everybody, and welcome to Assemble Show. If you're here live and joining us live on the YouTube, it's youtube.com/assemble show. And thank you all so much for joining us here live and watching on demand later. You guys are all fantastic. Thank you for being here. And in case you don't know, we come in here, we hang out in the Assemble studio together. We talk about a little bit of wrestling, the champions that are out there right now. We talk the latest news, speculation, issues that might be going on in the world of wrestling from WWE to AEW. If it's your first time here, if you are watching on demand, thank you so much for being here, and do Matt a favor and hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you guys enjoy doing that type of thing. You give it a thumbs up if you start enjoying the stream and the show, and you can always take it back at the end if you're just like, this is not for me. I did not enjoy this man and his banter and his antics. It was not for me. But I hope you could just hang around for a little bit. Let's have some fun, shall we? So let's go into basically our first topic. The first thing we'll talk about is me, because I'm self-absorbed that way. So we're going to talk about Matt for just a moment, because it's just nice some days. All right. Well, what we're going to say though, everybody, is just that if you can, we got more content on the channel. Yes, we do, Jack. You know this, but everything from WWE 2K22, all the news that's in there. If you guys want to talk about the latest topics, talking about microtransactions for WWE 2K22, hit me up in there. I got more videos coming this week. I've just been doing a lot of different things. We got Let's Plays in there. We got the actual on-demand shows. So the one from yesterday, if you want to talk about CM Punk and his comments about WWE, I've got it there. You got Charlotte Flair's backstage heat. We got it there. You got AEW console game. I got you covered. Don't worry about it. And just some of our most popular shows across the internet. It's quite lovely. And we'll get into all of this with everybody. Thank you all so much for being here again. And let's start off with the latest news, and the one that I wanted to kick things off with, and that is going to be Mr. Kevin Owens, Kevin Steen. All right. By the way, where is he? You guys like this? Huh? You like that little guy? I put the little Assemble guy in there. He's my little buddy. See? He's my pal. He makes me happy. Kevin Steen. Kevin Owens references contract saga on Raw. Gasp. AEW? What? Mount Rushmore of wrestling? What? Is it happening? Mario? Justin? Are we doing this? Is this happening? Powerbomb Stunner. AEW. Kenny Omega. Let's go. We don't know, but we'll find out. I have a feeling he's going to be gone. Kevin Owens' WWE contract is set to expire. This article is coming from Wrestle Talk. They do fantastic work. Go check out Wrestle Talk all the time, because I really do enjoy all of their work over there. Kevin Owens' WWE contract is set to expire in February of 2022. That's after Christmas. That is in the new year. I thought he signed on longer, honestly, but I guess he's not. And there has been no word yet on if he has made a decision regarding his future with the company. We don't know what he's going to do, but Owens did decide to go on Raw and cut a little bit of a promo, have a little bit of fun out there. I think, just between you and me, I think Justin, Mario, Jack, I think Kevin Owens doesn't give a shit anymore. Maybe. Owens came out for a promo on tonight's Raw, the November 1st edition of Raw that just happened, where he was talking about how he keeps giving his all and will keep fighting before throwing it in the line. Quote, it might be 3 more months or 3 more years. Every time I'm on Raw, I'll give the fans something to remember. Have to pause there because, yes, Kevin Owens, Kevin Steen is one of my favorite wrestlers of like the current generation, newest generation, right? I grew up with Stone Cold and Bret Hart and the Hart Foundation, his Taker in the 90s, and Triple H, the Gabe smashing jackhammers, sledgehammers, all of that. Goldberg was jackhammer, WCW. I grew up with all of that, but for Kevin Owens, I enjoyed his work. I enjoyed everything that Owens has brought to the table, everything that he has done over the years. Great feuds, great storytelling, great humor. Like he's quality all around. I'm baffled that WWE will let this guy go. However, he would be a big contract, guys. Like Owens would cost them a lot of money. WWE is looking for big headliner spectacle, and I don't think Owens is what they're looking for anymore, to be honest. And what has he done after when he did the Roman Reigns feud? I feel like that was his last thing, and that was to get Roman over more as like one of his first big opponents becoming tribal chief, because they went on for like 3 months in the Thunderdome. The article continues that says Owens wasn't the only one who subtly referenced the situation, as Big E followed with a line later in the promo saying, there's only room for one face on Monday Night Raw. This isn't Mount Rushmore. Mount Rushmore was the name of the stable featuring Owens, Adam Cole, Bebe. Boom. And then the Young Bucks, which he referenced when he tweeted out the coordinates a few months ago. Do you remember this, guys? So when Owens actually tweeted out Mount Rushmore coordinates on his Twitter timeline, that was fun. Ryan Satin picked this up as well. Good promo. Always fun by Kevin Owens. What do you guys think? You tell me. Do you think Kevin Owens is going to re-sign with WWE for another 3-5 years, what have you? Or do you think he is going to go to AEW if he wants to go to AEW, if Tony Khan wants him in AEW? What do you think is actually going to go down with his contract? Where I sit right now, I gotta say, I think he is on his way over to AEW. Marvel Entertainment, what's up? How are you? Love Owens. My favorite era was when he was Universal Champion. Yes, when he was fighting Y2J Chris Jericho. It was probably some of the best work that was out there. Arkham Origins thinks he will re-sign. Interesting. I really don't know. I mean, if he stays with WWE, it's going to be kind of interesting. I don't know what else he can bring to the table. What is he going to do? He can work with younger talent, get more guys over, but I feel like he is in a position much like Dean Ambrose was, Jon Moxley, and others, even Adam Cole within NXT. You've done everything you can do with the brand, with yourself. What else is there for Owens to do? And Owens always strikes me as somebody that is looking to be fulfilled creatively, especially at this point in his career where he's made his money, right? And he's always about family and making money and making business and fighting. That's his whole thing. I just feel like he's done everything. He's been Universal Champion, WWE Champion. He's done everything top to bottom. Great programs with great stars. Bad programs. He's fought the McMahons. He got to headbutt Vince McMahon. Like, he's done everything that you could want to do in WWE. He's been on the WrestleMania card, up and down the card. Like, he's never been the main eventer, and I don't think he ever will at this point in his career with them. But if you slotted him in AEW, what do you think we could get from a Kevin Steen? I know that it immediately goes to Mount Rushmore of wrestling, but wouldn't it be really cool, though, if they did something like that, where Kenny Omega loses to, I'm tired. What's his name? Buckshot. Cowboy shit. Help me, Jack. Matt's brain is broken. Why am I just losing my mind? Kenny Omega loses the title. He loses the AEW championship. And when he does, you start getting Adam Cole to Hangman Page. Thank you so much. My God, I am sorry. I'm very tired. Hangman Adam Page wins the AEW championship, setting things off, and then we get into Kenny Omega taking some time off, disappearing for a while. Adam Cole becomes the pseudo leader of the Super Elite, the Super Clique, and all of that. And then what you do is then you have room, right? You have room to get Adam Cole up even higher. Young Bucks get those tag titles on them again. And then you bring in Kevin Steen and you create and recreate the Mount Rushmore of wrestling, ultimately culminating with a return of Kenny Omega in 6 months to 8 months and taking out Adam Cole and Kevin Steen and all those guys. And you have a face Kenny Omega, long-term booking. But I just feel like there is a lot you can do with Steen, and I don't think that there's a lot you can do with Owens when it comes to WWE. It'll be interesting to see what they do with him and where they go. Speaking of what they do and where they go and what could be up next, WWE rumors on Brock Lesnar and Drew McIntyre potentially being the next opponent. And this is coming out of Bleacher Report with an article talking about the latest news, citing the insider himself, Dave Meltzer. Meltzer Driver, let's go. Just to pause for a second, I hope everybody's well in the chat. How are you doing? Is everyone feeling good? Justin, Jack, Arkham Origins. Hope everyone's well. Mario, I think things are good. Stick with me. Let's go. The Arctic Bleacher Report writes, WWE reportedly dropped a hint regarding Brock Lesnar's next opponent on Friday night's episode of SmackDown. See? Yeah. We did get hints that McIntyre, when he came on SmackDown, he was using the Kimura lock. According to Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer newsletter, Drew McIntyre is using the Kimura lock to beat Mustafa Ali on SmackDown. Was done for a reason. It was odd, though, right? Because you didn't have Drew using a submission hold, which he doesn't normally do. So everyone was just like a gasp. What is he doing? Why is he now? He's not just booting people in the mouth. He's now trying to submit them. I like that he's increasing his arsenal. He's trying to do a little more. That always makes me happy when guys are trying to expand their character a little bit. Drew's somebody I really, really enjoy, but he was WWE champion for so long during the entire Thunderdome era. He was the greeter at the mall for Thunderdome. Every Raw kicked off with him. I love Drew, but I got bored. So I'm glad, but he hasn't done anything since becoming champion or losing the title, finishing off with Bob Lashley, all of that stuff. SmackDown's a great new role for him. But again, I'm like, what's he going to do? How is he going to stay fresh? This could be interesting. The article continues to say that Lesnar has occasionally used the Kimura lock to beat opponents in the past. Yes, he has. And McIntyre employing the new maneuver could mean a rekindling of the rivalry is in order. McIntyre beat Lesnar in the main event of WrestleMania 36 last year for the WWE Championship. Although it always seemed likely that WWE would go back to the rivalry at some point, given how everything went down, WrestleMania 36 was staged with no fans in attendance due to the COVID-19 pandemic, meaning McIntyre didn't get his big moment in front of the universe. Moving McIntyre from Raw to SmackDown in the draft seemed to be a calculated move on WWE's part, as he unquestionably the top babyface of the brand, with Universal Champion Roman Reigns running things on the heel side. Yeah, I would say so. I'm trying to think, guys, who else do you have as a face right now on SmackDown? It's feeling pretty thin, isn't it? Like from top faces. I really don't think you have much, do you? I mean, Jeff Hardy comes to mind, but that's like it right now. You guys tell me, who's another top face on SmackDown that you can see facing Roman Reigns in the near future? It feels pretty thin right now. Reigns beat Lesnar at Crown Jewel to retain his Universal title thanks to the help of the Usos, and it seems likely that there is plenty of meat left on the bone when it comes to their feud. Lesnar is in the midst of the storyline suspension, however, after attacking the referees and Adam Pearce, which was hilarious. Adam Pearce's whole video thing from his office. It was funny. The expectation is that Lesnar will target Reigns when he returns, but going after McIntyre instead could be a fun swerve that fans would be excited to see. What do you guys think? Do you think that we're going to get McIntyre versus versus Brock Lesnar? I don't know, but I'm not against it, but I also don't know what you would do with McIntyre right now. Who can he feud with that you feel like it's going to matter? Is he going to go after somebody like Sami Zayn? I just feel like it's not consequential. And it's a good point by Meltzer to point out that, him and Brock had this match at Mania with no fans and he won the title. It was supposed to be a big moment. Remember when McIntyre won the Royal Rumble with fans in attendance, and he eliminated Brock? That was a big, big deal, right? And I think Drew is needing that live culmination thing at Mania. I just don't feel like it's in the cards right now. I could be wrong, but with his move to SmackDown, I don't think he's toppling Roman Reigns. I don't think they've built him to that degree where we can see him being the one to take down Roman. I just think that maybe it's going to be a little bit different. Maybe introduce him into the mix. Arkham Origins makes a good point in the chat here. Just make it a triple threat, McIntyre, Reigns, and Brock. I think that that's very interesting. I don't know if I see that at Mania. I mean, I could if they build it properly on SmackDown. I think you could get away with that almost at like a Royal Rumble and have that as a big money main event triple threat match where it's a schmoz finish, Roman wins. Or Arkham, like you're saying, have it at WrestleMania in a triple threat. I ultimately don't see Roman dropping that title, but a triple threat is a really good way to do this because you keep Roman really strong. You can have Drew eat the pin, or you can have Brock eat the pin. And Roman squeaks out the win at Mania. They got to do something there, though, right? But it'll be very interesting to see what they do with Drew McIntyre out of all of this. Let's keep going, guys. Let's talk more a little bit about Raw when we're talking about Kevin Owens. This is also coming from Wrestle Talk, talking about how the Raw viewership is slightly up for November's edition of the show. The viewership figures for November 1st edition of Raw, which opened with a Raw women's title match, have been revealed, as per Brandon Thurston of WrestleNomics, and I saw this actually myself on Twitter when he posted it. Go check out Brandon Thurston, though, on Twitter, because he will always post the numbers and the results of like viewership numbers for AEW and WWE. It's really awesome. So Monday's show drew an average of 1.689 viewers. This is slightly up from the 1.658 million viewers who turned in on the October 25th edition. In the 18 to 49 demo, that is the synonymous most important demographic, everybody, in wrestling, the show received a 0.47 rating, roughly 613,000 viewers. And last week's show also received a 0.47 rating in the demo. So not that like average Raw. I've watched like all the highlights online. It's another average Raw. I'm thinking the challenge that I have with WWE right now, and I mean the product overall, we have lots of problems with it. But one of the issues I have is the timing of things right now, is that we are getting into Survivor Series and we've just had the draft, and the fallout of the draft, you're trying to create new storylines and new rivalries and keep things going, but you have a Survivor Series coming up. I assume it's brand versus brand, but they haven't really been building it yet, and we're a couple of weeks away. The numbers fluctuate a lot when it comes to Raw, and you're in a time now where you've got a lot of sports happening, you've got a lot of football happening, and that's going to dominate. Baseball's wrapping up with the World Series, so it's going to be fluctuating a lot here on out. I think WWE is just always in kind of a meh place when it comes to their ratings. The episode of Raw, the article just finishes up here just to say that the episode kicked off with Bianca Belair challenging Becky Lynch for the Raw Championship after throwing Belair into the exposed turnbuckle, and Lynch rolled up the challenger to retain her title. So giving away the championship match on Raw, not a bad move. It's going to draw some numbers if you're going to have a title match there on the show. And also on the show, Owens face off against Big E. Ahead of their bout, Owens talked about the conference or contract situation that he had, and we referenced it earlier in the night. But yeah, I think WWE has, in the last month or two, I'd say 2 months, they've been trying to do more to hype up their Raw product by putting on more title matches almost on a regular basis, right? Where I've seen more title matches from when Charlotte's been on Raw, now Becky. We've seen the WWE Championship title match happen a couple of times on Raw in the last few months. They're trying to do more and more where they're trying to get viewers to come in and actually watch the product and stay to see what the heck's going to happen. You put a title match on, you're ultimately going to get a little bit more, I think, out of the product. People are going to tune in a little bit more to see what the heck's going to happen. But I think it's just still, the problem is it's still short-term booking. It's not really going to do much long-term to sustain itself and to sustain viewers. Let's shift gears for a second, everybody, and let's take a look over at AEW. We talked about this on yesterday's show, the Battle of the Belts, the TNT special that is coming up for AEW. Now, for this one, I'm excited for Battle of the Belts. Give me a pay-per-view or a super show that they've got where they're going to put on all these belts on the line. And if you guys joined us for yesterday's show, one of the things I said was that what I enjoy about AEW's product is not pushing out monthly pay-per-views and being swarmed and bombarded by the product that way. What I like is that they're pushing us for the TV product, and it gives you more incentive to actually tune into what's going on TV versus traditional pay-per-view model. And I like this because it does make the TV product a little more special. You're going to get a Battle of the Belts. That's going to be feeling like a pay-per-view, but it's going to be on TV. More details have emerged, and this is coming from Wrestle Talk. More details have emerged on the plans of the format for AEW's first quarterly special of 2022, reportedly called Battle of the Belts. The special will reportedly air on TNT on January the 8th. So we're not going to get Kevin Steen because he's February. As per Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer Radio, it will be around an hour long, closer to the length of an episode of Rampage than Dynamite. Interesting. I would have thought that this would have been a 2-hour show. That's interesting. If they're only going to do an hour of this thing, they're going to have to either... they're going to have to cram in a lot of TV, like a lot of matches on this product. Or they're only going to have a select few. That's interesting if it's only an hour. That is not a long time, but I guess AEW does... I guess I'm thinking WWE with so many titles. You got women's, tag, heavyweight, TNT, TBS title, and that's it. You have 5 belts. Yeah. You make 5 belts, 10-minute matches, one schmoz finish right away that ends in like a DQ within the first like a no contest. Main event is like 15 minutes. Yeah, they can make it happen. They're going to have 8 to 10-minute matches plus commercial breaks. So yeah, you're probably looking at 8-10-minute matches plus a lengthier main event. But at 1 hour is a tight show if you're trying to put on all the belts. But we'll see what they do. Maybe they don't. The special will reportedly air on TNT. Like we said, Meltzer noted that these upcoming TNT quarterly specials are inspired by the old Clash of the Champions events. Yay! With the idea reportedly being to have a pay-per-view level card to air on TV. And the supercards were originally planned to be longer, according to the report. And it was noted that nothing currently set in stone surrounding the event. I just thought of something, though. If they're only doing this for an hour, everybody, I wonder if Tony Khan is going to turn around and say, we're doing it 1 hour on TV because that's what they were allotted and could budget for. But I wonder if they're going to do a 1 hour on YouTube like they did previously and have it go there for some kick-ass matches, or have at least one of the titles on the line on YouTube like they did with Bryan Danielson. That's January 8th is a Saturday. Yeah, I actually wonder if they're going to do that. I think that Tony Khan and AEW are very open-minded when it comes to leveraging their YouTube channel and trying to grow that thing and getting a healthy audience there and getting that YouTube audience, that crowd, to click over, to literally go from watching on YouTube on the AEW channel and going over to TBS to spike the viewers over there. So don't be surprised, everybody, if you see that. That's my speculation. That's my big hook. I think AEW is going to push for having 1 hour of wrestling with a title match on the YouTube channel. Maybe they'll keep the TBS title for the actual show. I wonder if they'll put a tag team title match or the women's on title match and put that on YouTube, and maybe another match to fill it out a little bit more, and then get everybody to try and get them to click over to TBS. They're going to want those TBS numbers really, really strong. Switching over to the networks, they're going to do really good numbers, being the premiere episode of this. Having this in here on TBS, it's a different audience. You're going to get the AEW crowd is going to follow them, right? They're going to follow that product regardless of channel. They just will. The wrestling fans will find your product. That's not really the issue. It's about getting more viewers. And so reaching out to the YouTube crowd on that side and getting them to turn on their actual TVs, it's a pretty good thing to do. I am excited for Battle of the Belts. Let's switch gears over a little bit more, guys, and let's follow up with the story talking about, just briefly, about Jim Ross, and he shares his update on skin cancer diagnosis. Pretty sad to hear that Jim Ross is going through this. Jim Ross has provided an update on his health following his skin cancer diagnosis. Speaking on Grill and JR podcast, Ross stated that he doesn't plan on missing work during treatment. He explained that he'll have to do 22 radiation treatments over the course of roughly 3 weeks. Ross said, noting that, quote, "I'm pretty good. I have this little cancer issue I'm trying to deal with. I'm going to start doing radiation soon. I have to do 22 radiation treatments. Somehow I have to figure out how to do it on consecutive days. They would like to do it every day for, I think, 3 weeks or whatever it is, maybe longer than that. I haven't kept track. It's inevitable. It's coming. I have to deal with it. I haven't found myself buried in the minutia of whether this is happening or that is happening. Ross, I won't read the whole thing, guys, but just the last statement here. I don't plan on missing any work according to my doctor, so that's good. It's just a matter of dealing with the issues, gritting out your teeth and moving on. That's kind of what I'm doing. I really appreciate all the fans who've reached out on social media and so forth, giving me their encouragement, prayers, and so forth. I didn't get the worst kind of skin cancer, whatever that is. I don't have. It's one of those deals. It's part of the journey. I have to deal with it, and I have to deal with it, and I will deal with it. No doubt about it. That's just a pain in the ass to get all these treatments. Ross continues in there to say a lot more. Go check it out. It's all on Wrestle Talk's website. Talking about Jim Ross. Sad news, but I hope that Jim Ross does well. I hope he recovers. I hope he beats everything. It'd be really, really good. Jonathan Mora in the chat. Hey, Jonathan. Hi. Matt. Good to see ya. I know that you were catching up and binging a lot of content today, and I appreciate you commenting and checking out so much of the channel. So thank you. Cheers. Thanks so much for supporting the show. That's really, like I said to him, like, that's awesome. You wanted to check things out and watch a lot of my dumb face say words. So thanks, buddy. Glad to have you here. Glad we could talk a little bit of wrestling. And the other piece of news that we have is let's look at FTR. Love FTR, and they issue an open challenge. It's coming from Fightful.com. Open challenge issue for the AAA tag titles on Dynamite. So on AEW Dark, FTR issued an open challenge for any luchadors out there to challenge for the AAA tag titles on the November 3rd episode of Dynamite. So cool. We are going to get a tag title match over on Dynamite. It went on to say through the All Elite Wrestling Twitter account that FTR are out to prove they are lucha #living legends, and that they're issuing an open challenge to any luchadors for the Lucha Libre tag titles tomorrow on Dynamite, with one exception: no Lucha Bros. So I wonder, who do you think that we're actually going to get them to take on? I love FTR, though. They're hilarious, and they're doing so good. The updated lineup for Dynamite as well. I'll be watching Dynamite. I got a lot of wrestling to catch up on. I put on NXT 2.0 now, like, in the evenings. Actually, after this show, guys, I'm probably going to go and play some games and put on NXT 2.0. It's in the background now, and I just want to see Braun Breaker and see how much of a Steiner he becomes. That's the only thing I enjoy now on that show. The lineup for Dynamite: we've got Cody Rhodes versus Andrade El Idolo. So Cody Island, and he's going to win against Andrade. See, this is the problem. You can't have Cody on TV. I'm sorry. You saw the I know you guys. You saw Cody's promo last week on Dynamite. Jonathan, Justin, Jack. A lot of J's in here, by the way. You got Cody. Comes in the ring, dressed all in black. Runs the promo. Cuts a promo basically saying he won't turn heel, Jonathan. And he's like, I'm not doing it. And he turns to Arn Anderson. And he starts yakking it up with Arn. Arn didn't mention the Glock. He usually does. Apparently Arn is like all fine now. And he lost his mind a few weeks ago with Malachi Black. That's all over. Now he's moving on to Andrade. I have a problem with Cody. I enjoy Cody Rhodes. I do. I can't. Where is he going with all of this? I hope he's turning. I hope he does have a character turn. Maybe not full heel evil Cody Rhodes, but Cody is smart, and he likes character-based stories, and he likes telling stories in his wrestling. He's not like the best wrestler in the world, but Cody can go in there and tell a compelling story. And so I think he's got to look at this even from like a comic book level, because he's very, very nerdy that way. He's got to see that his character needs to adapt and change and do something. He needs to turn heel in some regard, or at least start planting seeds that he's going down this path. At the same time, I just feel like he's not going to, and he's just going to ignore everything. It drives me insane. But anyways, this will be a fun match. I think it's going to end in, my guess right now, early prediction is that this match will end in some no contest, some DQ. Cody will fall through a table like he's done before or something, and he'll go away for 3 weeks. I just think that Cody doesn't put talent over. that much. And Andrade, for me right now, he's having a similar problem he had in WWE. He's not being utilized to his fullest. I wonder if he was supposed to have Ric Flair as his manager, and that totally got squashed for good reason. But I feel like Andrade is missing something. I don't know if I kind of wish Andrade right now was going for the TNT title and going after something. I just feel like he's kind of messing around with everybody. Pac is in the mix as well. That's cool. Their matches are incredible, and I know it's all about the in-ring work for those guys. There's Andrade for me is not clicking, and I want him to. Just something about it. Andrew Barrasso says, "Oh, Andrew, hi. Good to see you, buddy. If Kevin Owens leaves, then what's the point of buying 2K22? Hey, Andrew. There's lots of reasons to get 2K22. Because it might not have melting faces. See? There's always something positive to look forward to. The AEW World Championship Eliminator Tournament. Jon Moxley versus... What's happening? Jon Moxley versus Orange Cassidy. I'm looking forward to this. I'm saying... right now that I think that Jon Moxley is going to destroy Orange Cassidy. I'd like Cassidy to win. It'd be fun, but they're not using him right now in this role, like where you feel like he's the underdog going into this tournament. Like he is the underdog, but I don't think they're building a story around him where you think that this is possible. So I really think that Mox is going closer and closer, going angrier and angrier and becoming more of a heel. And doing that, and I think that's going to be really fun, really, really cool, and see him and Bryan Danielson tear it down. I can't wait to see what they're going to do in the finals, but my early prediction is I'm getting Mox beating Orange Cassidy. AEW TBS Women's Championship Tournament. Anna Jay versus Jamie Hayter. That will be fun. I think Anna Jay is going to go over in this one. Yeah. That's my early prediction. But it should be a fun match. I'm glad that they expanded into TBS title. More women on the card, more women being able to get opportunities for matches with storylines to be able to build around. Britt Baker is fantastic as AEW Women's Champion, but I want to see more women get more of the opportunities to headline more shows. And this is a great thing that we're going to be able to get even more screen time. Let's showcase more and more stars they got. So it's awesome. And the FTR Open Challenge, like we mentioned, for the AAA tag titles, which is really cool. Isn't it fun that you get like other promotions tag titles on a show? Like who would have thought you ever get that? It's a silly place, this whole AEW. I wonder, guys, what the heck's going on when it comes to the 2K22 that you're all mentioning in the chat, as well as the AEW wrestling game. I haven't heard a thing about this in like months now. It feels like it's probably been weeks, but I haven't heard it in months. And I've tweeted things and words, Justin, to, Mr. Omega and the AEW console game people, and I got nothing in there. It makes me sad. We're still waiting on more AEW console game news. They like to do the mobile game. I like that. I'm cool with it. I'm just waiting for more. This makes me mad. And every day I look at the 2K22 news. Do you know what we got here? Hey, Justin, talking to you. Jack, see this? There's nothing. I got nothing new. Got nothing with this game. I have ideas. I have topics. Conversations to have with all of you around 2K22. It's coming. Don't worry. Building out Assemble XP. That show's going bananas. And I'm quite having a good time. But I love this channel as well. We're building an empire, Andrew. Don't you understand? Mike Thunder Show. Good to have you. Don't you understand, Michael? We're building an empire of greatness together with wrestling and Xbox, amongst other things. But if 2K doesn't give me the effing game, I'm going to lose my balls. You see, this is water. I'm just passionate and I'm very silly sometimes. All right. 2K22 not around the corner. Makes me sad. You know what else makes me sad? Bray Wyatt gone from WWE, but Fightful Select has a little bit of an article talking about this. Details on why Vince McMahon didn't like Bray Wyatt. Piece of shit. Don't like him. That's a joke. Fightful Select. Go subscribe to Fightful Select. They have a Patreon. Sean Ross Sapp, fantastic human being. Go support Fightful Select. Great people. Great content. Putting out early wrestling news content. I love it very much. Rolling up my sleeves. I'm so excited right now. Fightful Select reports WWE sources felt Vince McMahon didn't like Wyatt towards the end of his tenure with the company. With Wyatt being vocal about his issues with creative, and it believed to be the reason why. I'm shocked. I'm not. I think Wyatt is very creative, and then WWE stunted him creatively. The report also noted that Wyatt, Randy Orton, and others involved were not happy with the creative direction or finish to the WrestleMania 37 match, which was reportedly changed days before the show. Oh, Vince changed his mind. Creative changed their mind before the biggest show of the year? Days before? I've never heard of such a thing with the WWE. That must be a new thing. They changed their minds on something. They didn't like it, so they moved in a new direction and told everybody probably 3 days before. It's amazing. It was noted that some talent reached out to Orton and Wyatt to say they felt bad that their bout was changed. Fightful stated that they were previously told that there was, quote, never a true creative end game for that story. Wyatt also, that just drives me nuts, eh? Like, you try to build something, and if you're Bray Wyatt, if you're Randy Orton, or anybody involved in these types of things, you are trying to create a story. And what's baffling too is that you are a television product that tells stories and creates drama in a ring. You want a beginning, a middle, and end. You want conclusions and closures on stuff. This would never fly with any other TV program where it's just like, we'll just keep going incessantly. Oh, burn his house down. Cover her in black goo. The end. Like you get like some bad ending on a TV show you like. People lose their minds over it. Now, wrestling fans do too, but still, I'm just disappointed. I'm disappointed that this has happened. I hope that he ends up in AEW or somewhere, or goes to Hollywood and does something out there, because, man, it's just frustrating to hear. Wyatt also, the article continues, Wyatt also reportedly was frustrated by the burned fiend angle. Oh yeah, Orton lit him on fire in front of nobody. That was cool. He was charged following Randy Orton setting him on fire at TLC 2020. The creative team was told that Wyatt thought the suit was too heavy, was going to look bad, so it was scrapped. As per the report, it was stated that Wyatt has not confirmed this, however. WWE cited budget cuts as the reason for Wyatt's release. It's a budget thing. Best of luck in your future endeavors, pal. John Laurinaitis, which reportedly caused there to be gigantic frustration within the company, with a number of stars feeling their job was no longer secure. Wyatt has teased that he will open up about his final months in WWE soon. Go subscribe to Fightful Select. Great article over there talking about Bray Wyatt. But man, I'm so upset that they just dropped the ball with him so very much. The other thing that's coming out with Bray Wyatt that actually just popped on Wrestle Talk right now is actually that Bray Wyatt's WWE non-compete clause expired this past Friday, October 29th. So the Eater of Worlds is now free to show up wherever he wants. He's a free agent, ladies and gentlemen. And while no landing spot for the former Universal Champion has been confirmed, we may now have an idea of where he won't be heading. GCW owner Brett Lauderdale recently spoke on Wrestling Inc. Daily, where was asked if he had spoken to Wyatt about showing up at GCW, and the response was, quote, I have never talked to Bray Wyatt, but my understanding is that I don't know that our world is very appealing to Bray Wyatt. He then clarified his statement to say there's no secret message there. I think that he's not interested in making the rounds in the indies. That's my understanding. I don't mean any negative implication that he said anything, because I've never spoken to him. From people I know that he knows and whatever, it just doesn't seem like it's something that's on his to-do list anytime soon. Yeah, I don't think Bray Wyatt would go to the indies, frankly. I don't think he would need to. He's a big enough star that, you know, there's New Japan, there's Impact, there's AEW, and then there's Hollywood. And I think he could have his pick if he wanted to be creative. I think that he would have that opportunity, but we'll see. And the last piece of news I want to talk about, guys, here on the show is, and if you guys can, if you're new to the show, do me a favor, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell, hit that thumbs up, helps the YouTube algorithm trying to grow this wrestling news daily piece we have here on Assemble. So do Matt a favor, go over there. It's totally free. You just go in there and you click a button and help support the show and gives Matt a smile on his face. And then you can come back and chill out and watch all the content we got here pretty much every day of the week, which is kind of gnarly. We just give this stuff for free, John. It's nuts, John. AJ Styles, last piece of news. The reason AJ has not been on TV lately, and it's been weird. I just kind of noticed it out of nowhere. AJ Styles has been mysteriously absent from WWE Raw for the past couple of weeks and has now been revealed. Styles' tag team partner Owens has appeared on both of the last 2 episodes without him, and now we know why he's not around. The Wrestling Observer radio show Dave Meltzer, the host over there, said the following, quote, "AJ's got a non-injury medical issue, is what I was told. I'm sure he's going to yell and scream about it at some point, but that is what they said, a non-injury medical issue." So he has a medical issue, Dave Meltzer. It doesn't have to be an injury. It's just the way they phrase it, that stuff. It's silly. Omos appeared last night to interrupt the Street Profits versus the Dirty Dogs match, so it seems the plan is for them to remain in the tag division upon Styles' return. Yeah, so he's probably kind of like almost day to day. If Omos is on TV and they're still mixing it up with the tag teams, then they're probably just going to have AJ come out in like a week or two. Styles' last match and appearance on TV was on October 21st at Crown Jewel in Saudi Arabia, when he and Omos unsuccessfully challenged RK Bro for the tag titles. And we wish him full recovery, obviously, and we hope AJ Styles is going to be okay. Justin Lowe, you subscribed. Thank you so much. Jonathan Mora, I appreciate it. I appreciate all your guys' support. Thank you so much for being here. Ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up the news that we are covering today here on Assemble Show. I appreciate everybody for being here in the chat live and joining us. You guys are fantastic. If you want to support the show, you can become channel members. You guys can just totally do things for free and just do whatever you want and hit the subscribe button like so many of you have. I truly do appreciate your support. Hang into the chat because you guys do join us here live on the show. We will hang out here live afterwards after we stop. And if you can't stick around for the whole thing, don't worry, because I will go ahead and I will repost this whole thing for you guys later. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you on the next episode.